Colorism permeates South Asian culture. We love whiteness, and I mean both in terms of the skin, but also in terms of our internalization of white supremacy and racism. We have internalized racism, and we have come to believe that whiteness is better than brownness. And it shows up in things like colorism, where we tell our children to not sit in the sun, to use skin bleaching cream products, and more. This is a manifestation of white supremacy. It's a manifestation of racism, and we have come to believe this. And I'm so done with the colorism in our community, in our culture. So after today, I would love for you to join me in calling out colorism. When you hear comments being made in our culture around how fair is beauty, I want you to call it out. And instead, what we really should be doing is cultivating self-love. We want to be in a place where we embrace how beautiful we are, the melanin in our skin, our brownness.
Happy summer. I cannot believe that I still need to talk to some of y'all about this. Do not tell your brown children to stay out of the sun this summer. Do not offer skin lightening agents to counteract the effect of the sun on your brown children's skin. Do not slather your children in sunscreen with the intent of keeping them light, but rather with the intent of protecting them from skin cancer. Our skin is the imprint of our heritage, of our ancestors, and you will not be making children, literal children, think about how their skin is less desirable than white skin. Let your kids play in the goddamn sun this summer.
So when I was like 6 or 7, I was in first grade at the time. I was a part of like a Bollywood dance group, and I went over to one of the girls' houses because they were having practice there, and her whole family like basically wouldn't acknowledge me, and they would only serve me food on a metal tray, and they wouldn't let their kids touch that metal tray. And it's all because of obviously the caste system, and I was much darker than their children. So then obviously when my white mom came to come get me, they were shook because they treated me so badly, and it went down. When I tell y'all it went down, it went down. We never went back there again. No more dance group for me. Over. And as a 7-year-old, I didn't understand what was going on, but now as an adult, I do, and it's triggering.
Because everyone watches Bollywood. Also, I specifically said South Asian, not South Indian. Bollywood, so far, has only been having actors that look white, which is very problematic because Bollywood is so popular. Not only do South Asians watch it, a lot of people from different countries watch Bollywood movies. And the representation in those movies is so problematic because there are people in my comment section who are foreigners, non-South Asians, who tell me that they did not know that Indians like me existed, meaning Indians of my skin tone or darker than me existed. Only after we started putting ourselves on the internet did they think, oh wow, they're brown and dark skinned Indians? South Asians? Why is it not there in Bollywood movies? There is colorism everywhere. But the reason why I hold Bollywood to such a high standard and I talk about them and I attack them on my page is because how popular they are, how much power they hold. Because people watch Bollywood movies and make their assumptions about us. By us, I mean the rest of South Asia, the rest of India, and they think that we look like those people, those actors, those white-looking actors, and they think that that's what South Asians look like. Nope. South Asia is very, very diverse. India is very diverse, but we don't have any representation. In my own country, I don't have representation. And Hollywood is doing a much better job at that. Which I think, like, that's weird to me.
I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's been bothering me. Recently, I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram. South Asians asking the British Empire to return the Kohinoor diamond back to India after the Queen passed away. Sari blouses apparently not being a thing, and that they were introduced by the British Empire to cover a woman's modesty. You know, we're pointing fingers at the British Empire for all these things, and yet they left 75 years ago, and we're still holding on to one of the biggest legacies they've left behind. fair skin privilege, and colorism. Okay, so I know that colorism did exist in South Asia before they arrived, but let's be very honest, their arrival exacerbated the problem, right? And we're still holding on to that. In fact, it's thriving. Colorism is thriving in India. We're holding on to that. We're holding on to internalized racism. I think it's high time we start looking within and fix those problems first.
So do my Indian parents finally accept my half-black children? Let's get into it. So last I left off, I haven't spoken to my dad in over a decade. I think the last time I spoke to him was in 2013. I don't need him in my kids' lives. He disowned me a long time ago, or I felt he disowned me, even though I felt like he wanted to communicate with me, but he didn't want to own up to the fact that he has half black grandchildren.
Love sees no color. What her family done is completely unacceptable. They had disowned her for having mixed children with her black husband. Now, as long as her husband, don't matter the race or the color, as long as he treats her good and respects her, no one should have a problem with that. No one whatsoever.
I'm off somewhere studying. The kids didn't exist. There was no pictures of me in this house. There's no pictures of the kids in this house. Anytime I would see one of his friends, oh, how's school? Bro, I'm married. But anyways, yeah, I don't need that in my life. You'll learn more about my upbringing with my dad and my stepmother in another video. There's a lot there. Anyway, so now let's get into my mom. I tried. Guys, I tried. And I'm like, okay, let's see if she changed. And I would use little triggers to see how she would react. There were 3 things that I'm like, wow, you can still do this to this day? So one was my 21-year-old hurt his Achilles in December. He got hurt. I told Instagram, Facebook, all of that. So my mom follows me on Facebook. So she read it. And I also told my sister, who told my mom. My mom writes me 4 days after it happened. And she was like, she wrote me on Facebook Messenger. She's like, is, Elijah okay? I was like, he's okay. He's in a lot of pain. She wrote me 2 days after that message and gave me a thumbs up emoji. A thumbs up. Okay, whatever. So I decided to visit my sister in Maryland, and because she just had a baby and I wanted to see my nieces. There's 2 of them. So I went there with my oldest daughter, who was her favorite when I was younger. She was literally like, give me her and I want to raise her again like she was her daughter, because apparently she didn't raise me and my sister right. Yeah, anyways, so I brought her to Maryland to see her grandmother because she also wanted to see her uncle and her aunt and all of that good stuff. And my mom, the only thing she really said to my daughter was hi. There was no conversation. There was no, oh, how's school? Or what are you doing? Are you working? There was no trying to get to know her granddaughter at all. And I'm like, that's crazy. You would think she wants to get to know her grandchild. Like, who wouldn't want to get to know your grandchild? If I had a grandchild, I want to know everything about that child. But yeah, she really wasn't trying to talk to that child. And it was very disheartening to see. Very disheartening. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm going to have to get to a part 2 because there's not enough room in this video for that.
Movies, and sincerely, truly, I never knew that there were Indians who had darker skin than the ones that were portrayed in Bollywood movies. But today I've got lots of Indian friends who are darker skin tones, and I now understand how diverse India is and how you find so many Indians with different skin tones and different shades. But from this video, because of the internet, I've come to learn that it's because of colorism that we see more whiter Indians being portrayed or being pushed forward in the Bollywood industry. And also about skin bleaching. You heard the other women talking about how Indian women who tell their kids not to stay under the sun because they are going to get darker. And if in any instance they get sunburn, they will use skin bleaching creams to look lighter. And also talking about the caste system, as she already said, like we all know, the Indian system is a caste system where those at the bottom of the ladder, of the social ladders, social status. Society is divided into social status, and if you're not of the higher status, you cannot mix with people of the higher status. So she was talking about the caste system, and also this is also intertwined or interrelated with colorism, because as we all know, like in the Western world, in America, for example, people who are lighter skin are treated differently from people who are darker skin. And I even came across a video where a guy was talking about racism, and he talked about how even in the Constitution, the American Constitution, black people were never referred to as equal humans to white people. They were like always, it's still in the Constitution. I don't know if it's been reviewed, but this is what he said, that in the American Constitution, the black man is not equal to the white man. The black man is lesser, or is less when compared to a white man, according to the American Constitution. Guys, this is allegedly, because I don't know. I've never read the American Constitution. I've never been in contact with it, but this is it. And colorism in the West, colorism in India, colorism in Africa. Even in Africa, you see so many people, Africans, using bleaching cream because they want to look lighter. And there is this notion that if you look lighter, you will be more appealing and everyone is going to like you. You're going to get contracts, you're going to get jobs. And it's been the case. It has been the case because of the unattainable beauty standards. You know, they create the beauty standards and everyone follow. And if all the models, most of the models, the top models in the top magazines are white, of course, most people from all other races will feel and think that in order to be in a magazine, you need to look lighter. Even in the movies, in order to be in a movie, you need to look lighter. And in India, as she said, it's worse than in America, in Hollywood, because to some extent, Hollywood is diverse. But in India, what is being portrayed by Bollywood, we see only white Indians. Truly, this is 100% true, because I always thought that everyone from India looked like the Indians that I see in Bollywood. So let's continue.